Well, there we have it. It finishes last night at Selhurst Park, Newcastle United 2, Crystal Palace 0. And really for about 85 minutes of that match, it looked like it was going to be a 0-0 draw, which, to be fair, a lot of people had anticipated. It didn't work out that way due to Callum Wilson again. And finally, Joelinton getting a goal. Let's have a talk about it. Hi there, I'm Paul. Welcome back to the Toon review. Just reviewing last night's game. Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 2. And, well, as I said in the intro there, before the 85th minute, you just had a feeling it was going to be a 0-0 draw, or that Palace were going to sneak a 1-0 win, because they looked the more likely team to score, certainly from the 70th minute onwards. They had some opportunities, but again, Karl Darlow was just outstanding, and there's nothing you can say about Karl Darlow on a negative sense at the minute. The man is doing everything he can to keep his place for when Dubravka's fit, and if I'm honest, it's going to be very hard to drop him. You cannot drop somebody who is playing as well as he is at the minute. He has improved massively. And there was a lot of worry come the start of the season about Darlow having to play, but he's proved a lot of the doubters wrong, and he's been outstanding. Very rarely has he made a mistake this season, and he's just been on top form. And for me, it's a goalkeeper you can rely on, is somebody who comes for the ball, is shouting at his defence, is quick to move the ball when he catches it, and Darlow's doing everything. He really is, and he's playing so well. So a massive well done to him, first of all. When I saw the team sheet, I was kind of thinking, right, we're playing 4 at the back here. Finally, we might be going for it. The problem is Jeff Hendrick. And I'm going to say this now. I do not know what he offers to Newcastle United. I'm very, very surprised that he stayed on for the full 90 minutes. I would have been happy to see Jacob Murphy come on in that position. I was a little bit perplexed when he took Almiron off for Richie instead of possibly taking Hendrick off for Richie, but that proved to be a good substitution. I'll come to that a bit later. So we started with Darlow in goal. We went with Mankio on the right-hand side, at right back. We went with Fernandez and Clark in the middle, and we went with Lewis at left back. Now, if we talk about the 4 at the back, I don't think they did much wrong last night. Fernandez and Clark were outstanding. Some of the blocks Fernandez put in was brilliant. Clark's distribution was tremendous. We had a central defensive 2 there who just looked in control. And we haven't been able to say that lately. And for me, I've tweeted it out this morning. I think he has to leave Lascelles out. If Lascelles is fit for the next game, I'm sorry. Whether he's captain or not, it doesn't matter. You play to your form players, and Clark and Fernandez, for me, have to be the centre-back defensive pair. And I've said it for a long time now that I'd prefer them 2 there anyway. And it just goes to show, Fernandez just throwing himself in front of shots yesterday. Just tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. And when you've got a central back pairing like that, it gives the fans a bit of confidence that you can actually do something. You can defend the goal and you can then move forward. And Clark was playing it out nicely yesterday, and it was great to see. In midfield, we went with Hendrick, Shelvey and Longstaff as a 3. Now, for me, Longstaff didn't do anything wrong yesterday. Shelvey played okay. I've seen some people say Shelvey was shite. I'm sorry, I disagree with that. I think he put in a good display yesterday. Not outstanding, don't get me wrong. He wasn't like the best player on the pitch or anything like that. But he was, my God, he was putting himself about. He put some nice passes together and he kept the midfield intact. And I disagree with anybody that says he was shite. But again, football is all about opinions. And we know that a lot of fans out there have their own opinions on Shelvey. For me, I'm just going to go game by game with Shelvey, and I thought he did all right last night. Longstaff, again, was solid. Hendrick, for me, is the major problem in this team. I do not see what he brings to the side. I cannot I cannot agree with anybody that said, Hendrick played well. The man was anonymous. The first half, I mean, I was watching him specifically last night very, very closely. And he got the ball so many times and gave it away. It was laughable. Now, many people might not notice it because he gets the ball, he gives it quickly, or he tries to give it quickly, and it deflects or it goes to an opposition player. You just get on with the game. But when you're looking at a specific player carefully and watching him, you'll see how bad he was. And a lot of people were even commenting, is he even in the team? Is he in the team? We can't see him. He's anonymous. And he was. And he's only in there because Steve Bruce brought him in. There's no doubt in my mind that any other manager would look at Hendrick's form this season and think he's no way good enough to be in that starting lineup. Absolutely no way. Now, again, this is just my opinion on the player. I do not think he's good enough. I was willing to give him a chance at the start of the season because I'd seen how he played for Burnley and I thought he was a decent player. But he's not performing anywhere near that level. And it's a shame. The front, we went with, we had Almiron, we had Wilson, and we had Joelinton. Now, when you look at that, you thought maybe Joelinton would start right-hand side, certainly on the left would have been Almiron. It didn't kind of work like that. They were a bit all over the place in the first half, I have to say. Wilson was more to the right, Joelinton was more through the middle, and Almiron was on the left, and that's not his position. Having said that, Almiron was poor yesterday. Now, again, I like Miggy, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't played well lately. Whether he's been out of position or not, it doesn't really matter because he still should be able to be involved in the game no matter what position he's in. And I just thought he was disappointing. So when that substitute was made, I kind of made a point on Twitter saying, oh my God, he's brought Richie on for Almiron. Why has he kept Hendrick on the pitch? But looking back, it was the right substitution to make because Richie came on and put some tremendous crosses in from the left. In the short time he was on the pitch, he was a threat the instant he came on. Some of the ball, he put one in particular that Joelinton really, he went up for a header and he completely mistimed the header. He was free, it was right where he needed it to be, and he missed his header. But, hey-ho, you know what I mean? At least he was there. But as the game wore on, Crystal Palace certainly got better and better. Darlow was having to make some saves. They were threatening with a few corners. And you started to worry a bit in the game, thinking, this isn't going to go our way. You could just see Palace sneaking a goal. But credit to the lads that kept working. And particular praise for me goes to Joelinton. I mean, I hammered him a couple of times through that match yesterday thinking, you know what, he's just missing so many chances. But give the lad credit. He kept working and working and working through the whole of that 90 minutes. He didn't put his head down. He kept going. And I have to say, what a wonderful setup it was for Wilson's goal. He brought the ball down, he turned, he saw Wilson was on the right-hand side, he was clean in, and he played him beautifully through. And Callum Wilson does what he does best, he finished it. And you're just so delighted. And you could see Callum Wilson, the first player he turned to was Joelinton, saying, yeah, brilliant ball through, mate. And, we've seen a lot about Joelinton. He isn't a striker, he's definitely not a £40 million footballer. But maybe his position is on the left all through as a number 10. I do think he combines well with Callum Wilson, I have to say. He does combine well with him. And, looking at the times that they've played together, Joelinton has looked a bit of a stronger player. He looks settled when Wilson's on the pitch. And when he's up there alone, when Wilson was injured, he's not the same player. But Callum Wilson makes different runs. Joelinton holds back. And we just look a bit more threatening. So, for me, I was delighted for Joelinton, especially when he scored. I mean, I know, yes, it was another scuffed shot and a deflection, and, but it went in the back of the net. And that's all that counts. And you could see the delight on his face when he scored. And for me, when he came off, I was clapping him off in the living room. I was just thinking, my God, well played, son. He's took some hammer. In the past, he's took some hammer during the game today. But wow. He kept going. And what I was delighted for, as I've already said, he didn't put his head down. His head could have dropped when he had those chances in the first half. He didn't convert any of them. And you think, oh God, his confidence is going to be rock bottom. But he didn't. He kept going. And that's what I love to see with Joelinton. So, yeah, Palace threatened a few times. They really went for it in the last few minutes of the game. They had Benteke on, Batshuayi on. But for me, I was disappointed because during the game, I'm thinking, God, they've got a defender as a striker. That's how bad things are for Palace at the minute. And, they'd rather play a schlupp up front than have either Batshuayi on the pitch or Benteke. And that's why I was a bit disappointed we didn't really take advantage of that in the match until the last 5 minutes. But it's 3 points. We have to look at it that way. It's not a defeat. We've come away from London with 3 points. We haven't been able to say that a lot recently. So we move on to the next game and try and build from there. My worry is, Steve Bruce, you've always got to worry with him about what sort of team or tactics he's going to put out in the next game. But, I don't want him to bring Lascelles back. I do not want Lascelles back. I think Clark and Fernandez are our best central two, and we need to keep them there. There's no reason to drop those two players, any one of them. No reason at all. We look solid. As much as solid we can be when we're Newcastle United. That is debatable. However, as solid as we can be with those two in the team. And I was so pleased for them. But again, we know what Steve Bruce is like. He's got his favourites, and you can just see him coming out and saying, "Oh, Lascelles is the captain." He gives that leadership. He doesn't. I'm sorry, but he doesn't. He's not that kind of leader. Neither is Shelvey, for that matter. I don't think Shelvey's a captain, but he's obviously been there a long time now, and he's established in the team, kind of thing. For me, captain-wise, I'd have probably gone with either Fernandez or Clark. You can see them barking at the players. Whenever, Crystal Palace were coming forward or missing a few chances yesterday, those two were very, very vocal. You could hear them. So for me, either Fernandez or Clark should have been captain, but that's for another day. We won the game. We've come away with a bit of confidence, but there is still that little nagging in the back of my mind and in the back of quite a few fans' minds that there's certain players on that pitch that shouldn't be on the pitch, Jeff Hendrick being one of them, and you just worry what Steve Bruce is going to do the next match. For me, he should have looked at that performance and think, right, 4-3-3 is definitely the way to go. We look at more attacking side. Again, 42% possession. We're not having the ball enough. We certainly did in the first half, but the second half we fell away a little bit possession-wise. We let Palace come on to us a lot more until we managed to get the 2 goals. So for me, I'd rather see Hayden in the middle with probably Shelvey and Longstaff. Those 3 for me, I'd be comfortable with, because Longstaff and Hayden can hold back. Shelvey can play the more attacking midfielder role. And if we had ASM on the left, whoever it may be on the right, where it be Almiron or Fraser when he's fit, or Murphy, I'd like to see Joelinton stay in the number 10 role with Wilson up front, because I think Wilson and Joelinton can get something going, providing they're given the time. They've got to be given the time to perform. Whether they will do or not is Steve Bruce's decision, and that's where my fear is. I think that man has more lives than any cat or anything else in this world. He is the luckiest man on the planet. And I'd just like to say, the stuff that Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage were tweeting out last night, grow the fuck up, please. That was pathetic. You were acting like school kids last night on Twitter. You're grown men, you're ex-footballers, you're pundits. Don't act like children. Absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, we won, and that's the main thing. And we've got to be positive, and we try and move on now to the next game and hopefully build on it. We've gone 10th. That's before the matches this weekend, but we're 10th in the table. And that has got to be a bit of a plus point for us. We know we don't want Bruce there. Let's not even discuss that at the minute. Let's try and look on the more positive side at the minute and think, yeah, we're 10th in the table. Come on, let's build on this. We've got an opportunity in the next home game to really grab another 3 points. And let's see how we go. So we know there's a little tweaks to be made here and there in the team, but it's not too bad. It wasn't too bad last night. it could have been worse. We got the 3 points. That's the main thing. So thank you very much for watching the video. I'd like to just say thank you very much to all my new subscribers. I've had a big sort of climb in them recently, so thank you very much. Like I've said on every video, it's a football channel. We do lots of Premier League news and reviews and predictions on here, as well as Newcastle United, which is 2 separate playlists. So even if you're not a Newcastle fan, you've got loads of other football videos on here about world football, Premier League, all the stuff like that. Loads more videos coming up as well. So thank you very much. So also, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, I get plenty of views on here and I just want more likes if that's possible. So if you enjoy the content on the video, do hit the like button. But in the meantime, we can relax, enjoy the weekend knowing that we've got 3 points. I'll be back probably on Tuesday with a Premier League review over this weekend, and also a couple of other Newcastle United related videos. So thank you very much for watching. Take care, stay safe wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Be strong.